Hello and welcome to episode 34 of the Real Serious Podcast. As always, I'm Hunter along with Jack and Charles. What's up, boys? Football is back.
It's so back.
We made it.
It's so back.
Yeah. The world did not end
I didn't
before
realize
football returned.
We've got football on Thursday this week. Well, obviously. And Friday.
And
I did not know
Saturday.
Like
and
college,
Sunday.
NFL football though.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
And
know
we
there
have
was a Friday game.
we have college and NFL on Friday.
Yeah, I figured college, but I didn't know there was an NFL game on Friday. That's awesome.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
The Packers Eagles, yeah. Greg told me last night.
That's the Rio game, right? Are they in Rio? Or are they in
Green on green in Brazil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't they not allowed to wear green? Isn't that like the thing?
I think someone made that up.
Oh, is that a made up thing? I believed it immediately.
I also believed it, and I started freaking out. I was like, "Why would they do this?" And then I saw someone say, "Yeah, someone just made this up."
That's a pretty good fake rumor because
I know
I was convinced.
If it is a fake rumor,
the internet, man, you can just say whatever you want, and
seriously,
sometimes you can just roll.
I placed some bets for opening night 2 weeks ago, and I went 1 for 3. I was up like $20, and then I made like 10 bets on Saturday, and I went over 10.
See, that's why I've been betting on golf. Golf, I've been doing well on.
Scotty Scheffler.
I had him, and I won again.
Good stuff.
It's great stuff.
I hate LSU, man. They choked yesterday.
No, dude, it's actually good. We want because now that
USC, I know it's good for the Big Ten. Good for the Big Ten. Very happy.
For the Big Ten.
Also, that hype video. Oh my god, that USC hype video. Did you see it, Jack?
No.
I know, Hunter. I sent it to you.
Yeah,
or I sent it to our roommate group chat. But
take a look at it,
Mike. You got to watch it after this episode. It's diabolical. It's so cool.
Good. It's good.
We'll do. They look good.
But yeah. Oh, fellas, I told Charles already. I read a whole book. Let's go. I did it. I read a whole book.
You became the man you swore to destroy, Hunter.
I know. And I read Harry Potter 1, and then I watched Harry Potter 1 last night. And I stand by that the movie is better. So far we're 1 for 1. Movies winning. We'll find out soon if movies keep winning when I read the second book and then review the second movie. So pretty cool.
Yeah. We all know what the best Harry Potter is. So we'll get to that someday.
Do we know what the best Harry Potter is?
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we? Okay.
We're gonna leave the audience guessing.
Yeah, gotta have everyone just wonder what we're
foreshadowing for
So Hunter, you gotta slow down because Harry Potter's best in like the late fall, early winter.
Well, that was my thing. If I'm gonna read it then watch it, I want to give myself time.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and also September football is kind of like falls here. Like it may not really.
Once it starts getting cool in the morning, then you know you're here.
You wake up and it's like crisp on your nose.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's some shiny dew on the grass.
Here. Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yummers.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we want to do a little what we've been watching this last week?
Mm-hmm.
I can go first. Did I go first? I'm still gonna go first.
Well, I didn't.
All right. First and foremost, I watched Field of Dreams. Great movie. A little Kevin Costner dudes cry movie. Hit hard. Not gonna lie. So I recommend watching Field of Dreams to both of you, especially with baseball kind of coming to an end here in the next month or two. It makes me romantic for baseball, which is a sport I don't even like all that much. But wow, it makes you love baseball. So I recommend watching it. Then I started some Hitchcock, which we'll talk about later. So I watched Psycho and Rear Window back-to-back days. I'll talk about those in a little bit. And then I went to the re-release of The Batman, which I'll save my story for when we talk about the Penguin First Look. But my God, it might be the best comic movie ever. Still 5 stars. Still the best Batman movie. And then I watched Night and Day, which Tom Cruise certified 3-star banger. And then I watched Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone last night, which isn't it? It's weird that it's like the Sorcerer's Stone, but also the Philosopher's Stone. I don't know. On Letterboxd, it's the Philosopher's Stone.
Philosopher's Stone is the English version, I believe. But like once it came to the US, they're like, we'll make it Sorcerer's Stone.
It's just weird that like on Letterboxd it's that one. So, but yeah, that was what I watched this week.
It's a good week.
Yeah, it was a good week.
Jack?
Yeah, definitely a slow week. I got invited. Some friends were going to a Batman viewing, so they had a Batman showing at the IU Cinema for the 35th anniversary of the original Batman, and they had Michael Uslan.
Yeah, Michael Uslan.
They
took
had
his
him
class.
there. Really?
Yeah.
Really cool guy.
It was very cool class. Yeah.
I wish I would have known that he was teaching a class. I feel like that's just something that like IU should let you know. Dude,
I had to fight to get into that class because I'm Kelly.
Sure.
Like they wouldn't let me in it really, and that was like I would like to take this class. So, but the only bad thing it was Saturday mornings in the fall, so I missed the beginning of a couple home games.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, he's totally like, literally the Q&A. Me and Dylan Myers sat down like after the movie, and he had a Q&A for like 45 minutes. Like we're like, that was so much better than the movie. Like we loved the movie. We had a great time. It was so, like honestly, it was so much fun watching that movie in a like packed theater. Like just like the laughs, like everyone laughing together. It's just like, I don't know, like Michael Keaton going nuts. You want to get nuts, you know? And everybody's just like laughing. Everyone's just having a good time. But that was awesome. By far the highlight of my week. Well, I didn't know that he was doing the Q&A until like 3 hours before the movie. Because normally they have Q&As, but it's normally not like, normally they'll have like a psychology professor or something like come and talk about the psychology of Batman or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, psychology is cool.
Yeah.
He's kind of
bro has issues, but he is very, very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so saw the original Batman 1989. That score, just insane. The opening credits, and I just could inject that song into my veins. Wake up every morning to it. It just rocks.
Same score from the Lego Batman video game.
Indeed.
Goes nuts.
It does go nuts.
Goes bananas. Then I started the Hitchcock run. I watched Vertigo, Rear Window, and Psycho. We'll get to all those later, but really enjoyed my time with all those.
Cool. Okay. I had in hindsight, a pretty sad week. Only like 4 movies. But okay, so I started with Hitchcock because my uncle was in town, and older fella. So I was like, "You want to watch North by Northwest?" He was like, "Yeah, I do." So we watched North by Northwest, and Rear Window the following night. Then I saw Joey Licari. Shout out Joey. I saw him post on Letterboxd a Flushed Away review, and his comment was, "Thought this movie was for me. I was wrong." So then I commented on that, and I was like, "You know what? This inspired me to watch this." So I watched Flushed Away, gave it 1.5 stars, and my caption was, "Joey's right. This movie stinks." Just a bad movie. It's like, do you guys like Flushed Away?
Not really.
I loved it. I loved it as a kid.
I probably haven't seen it.
Don't watch it again then.
12 years.
I probably won't
not watch it again. Because I also liked it as a kid.
Hugh Jackman.
First time he wears the
Winslet.
full Wolverine suit.
Okay.
Andy Serkis. Yeah. He did have the Wolverine suit in it. That was a good shout out.
This cast is stacked.
Do not watch it again, Jack. Trust me.
Ian McKellen?
It's
what the hell?
A bummer. Ian McKellen's also in it, yeah. But yeah. And then I watched Holes. with my Uncle Phil again. Actually, all these I watched with my Uncle Phil. But
Like Shia LaBeouf holes?
yeah.
Whoa. Nice.
And after we also watched Paddington, but I went to bed before we finished it. But then the next morning I was like, hey, Uncle Phil, did you finish Paddington? He's like, yeah, I loved it. So
Sounds like you got a pretty cool uncle.
yeah, Uncle Phil. Maybe he should come up here and talk about the movies he watched. But that's and then I watched a lot of football. So okay, that's where that replaced my movie time.
Yeah, understandable. So yeah. All right, let's get into news. Let's get into news. All right. We don't have a ton of it. Number 1, Spider-Man 4. We talk about it, feels like every week. Rumor is that Spider-Man 4, apparently Sony won, and it's going to be another multiverse story. It's expected to open July 2026, and all I have to say is no thank you. That stinks. Why would you do this? Man, I'm so disappointed. Like, the ending of 3 set up so perfectly for it not to be a multiverse story.
It's Sony.
I feel like I've said this before, but just because you need a certain storyline by the end of the movie doesn't mean that the entire movie has to evolve. Like Thor Ragnarok is a beautiful example of they set
That's
up
facts.
They set up Infinity War perfectly, and they gave us nothing about that movie. Like we had no idea. It was like completely, individual movie. Like has nothing to do with anything. I mean, obviously it does have to do with the rest. Not really though. I mean, it's just kind of a self-discovery movie for Thor. But I don't know. I'm just if it is true about all the villains though, then I don't really know what they would do.
Hunter, maybe you should call in with your take and tell them this is a bad idea. I gotta figure it out. Do this. Yeah.
But see, I feel like so the main reason they're saying this is because Spider-Man 4 is going to be in between the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So that's 2 like multiversal movies that apparently Spider-Man's gonna be a part of. My thought is, don't put Spider-Man in Doomsday and instead have him do his solo movie, and then at the end of that movie, like Jack just said, have somebody show up and be like, we need you, Spider-Man. And he's like, all right. And then that's how it ends. That'd be fine. Like, I just want him sad and poor and broke for a movie. Because that's what Spider-Man is.
Sad boy Peter.
Yes, he should be Sad Boy Peter. Drive me nuts. Because I think Tom Holland could be so good, yet he hasn't gotten a chance to do a true Spider-Man movie yet, besides like the one that he was with other people in. So it's kind of annoying. Oh well. All right. Moving on, since we'll talk about it probably next week again. Steve Harvey. The Steve Harvey man. Yeah, Jack's right. I know. They're doing a biopic about him. So we were right. They ran out of famous musicians to do biopics about. So now we're back to people. And we're getting a Steve Harvey biopic for some reason. I don't know. I feel like Steve Harvey is too relevant to do a biopic about now, right? Like, don't they have to wait?
Also, too alive.
Yeah.
I would rather give me an Alex Trebek biopic over a Steve Harvey biopic. I mean, Alex Trebek. I don't know if we're gonna do game show host.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd almost even rather have like an Oprah biopic to see like how she because I know she.
That'd be kind of cool.
I just think this is very silly for some reason. But then maybe really interesting. I don't know. Maybe it'll be pretty cool.
You think the people getting biopics approach movie makers and they're like, you should make a movie about me? Or do you think the movie makers are like, you know what would be really good? A Steve Harvey biopic. Which way do you think it goes?
I think the second one. I think people are like, you know who's popular? Steve Harvey. We probably should capitalize on that popular by making a biopic about him.
I just feel like it loses value if they're still like alive.
So I agree.
Maybe that sounds really morbid. It actually definitely does.
It's hard.
So because I'm sorry about that, but
like Rocket Man, which is the Elton John one. Elton John's still alive, and I thought that was pretty great.
Okay.
I just think they need to be out of the era of their main different. Like they need to be out of the era of their popular. Or Steve Harvey's still popular. I don't know. I kind of am over it.
I was just blown away when they said they were doing it. Like, I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, I did too. And then it was just everywhere.
Maybe Steve has just some crazy stuff up his sleeve. Maybe bro had an absolutely like crazy life, and somehow he's just like one of the most popular people on the face of the earth, and he did some crazy stuff. So
We'll see. A good
who
example of a
knows?
biopic I think does it right was the Weird Al Yankovic biopic that came out maybe 2 years ago. Is because they did, like Weird Al does, a parody of a biopic, and so like they made Weird Al like the most popular musician of all time, and I thought that was very funny, like in a good way to do it. So I feel like they should do something similar with maybe Steve Harvey, like make it different in a way where it works.
Do like a Roblox, you know?
Yeah,
'Cause,
or yeah,
'cause
why
they-
don't you do another Lego movie, the Lego Steve Harvey movie?
just
That could
switch it
work.
up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, why not? Oh well. Another biopic coming is the Donald Trump biopic, The Apprentice. So The Apprentice released at Cannes. People seem to either hate it or love it, which something involving Donald Trump makes sense. Has a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently, this was not going to get a release in theaters. There's a lot of controversy around it because obviously who it's about. Now it's going to get a release coming out October 11th, 2024, starring Sebastian Stan, Jeremy Strong, and Maria Bakalova. I don't know.
Wait, this is kind of interesting. It's coming out right before the election.
Exactly. So it seems like that's on purpose, obviously, for like popularity mindset. I don't know. I have to see like how this is made. Because I think it's very easy to do a Trump bad movie, especially in today's world. Like if it was, a pretty interesting story, then I'm interested. But if it's just look at this bad guy for 2 hours, that's just to me is I don't know, not as interesting. So it's about Trump in the 80s and 70s, with Roy Cohen.
I do love me some Sebastian Stan, though.
Me too. I know. I love Sebastian Stan, and I love Jeremy Strong.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Maybe we'll take a peek at this when it comes out in October.
I'll probably watch it.
Yeah. Hey, I have A-list. I got no excuse. Got to see it.
Dude, my A-list went up. There's a more expensive Colorado A-list. It's not up there with New York and LA, but
that was me last year when I was in California. Yeah, it was expensive.
Mhm.
It was like $28.
You have to pay an extra.
I have to pay an extra $2.
Oh,
But yeah, I just switched my plan. I was let's just say I wasn't happy.
it happens.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do. I want to talk about my experience of the Batman. So the Batman re-release this week. Pretty funny crowd. So it started off. They played the wrong movie. Alien Romulus started. And so I don't know if you guys ever experienced when like it could be not even in a movie theater, but like a group of people and someone makes a joke and then they get that feeling of like, oh my God, everyone loves me for making this joke. So they try to be funny still and it never hits the second time. That happened at the Batman when they played Alien Romulus. So some guy was like, wow, they're really taking this in a different direction than I remember. Got a decent chuckle out of the crowd. Not 12 seconds later, he was like, Batman in space, this is weird. Crickets. Just crickets. And it was a brutal scene because I wanted to laugh at him, but I thought if I laughed at all, it would him thinking it was funny. So I just stayed quiet. And I mean, the silence was deafening. So then they turned off Alien Romulus. They're like, sorry, give us about 5 minutes. We'll put on the Batman. In that 5 minutes, everyone had their spotlight popcorn buckets and was shining them everywhere. That was pretty cool. And then it finally started. And I do stand by the Batman might be the greatest comic book movie ever made. It is a 5-star. It is the best Batman movie by far. I don't know. We're gonna watch the Dark Knight trilogy in 2 weeks, so we'll talk about that then. I think the Batman is about as close to perfect as possible. The final scene in the Batman where he gets basically reborn in the waters of Gotham is probably my favorite scene in maybe anything ever. I love that scene. But then at the end, I got the first look at the Penguin. So it was like a 10-minute preview. It was Colin Farrell and like the producers talking about the Penguin, the world they're creating. And honestly, it looks pretty interesting. It basically is The Sopranos, but Batman, which already from there, sign me up, But I would say the thing that they really talked about and focused on was the fact that they mentioned this was designed to give you a better feeling of the depths of Gotham, where Batman is higher up and he only is in places for like a moment. This is the everyday day-to-day of the people who actually have to deal with the crime in Gotham constantly. Now that was a pretty interesting take on it, and I think that that's going to be a big setup for what's to come in the Batman 2. It's going to be interesting to see if the Penguin, because they said the Penguin takes place like a week or a month after the Batman ends, if there's another time jump after the Penguin ends before Batman 2, which I think is 2026 now. So not too long, but still a little ways away. But yeah, it just looks pretty great, you guys. I'm very excited. It's like what, in 2 weeks?
Very soon.
We need a disclaimer across the screen. This show is an HBO Max show, so Hunter
Facts.
will like it regardless.
No, that's not true. Maybe. Yeah, so it's in 2 weeks. So it's the 19th of September. So it'll be not next week's pod where we talk about Beetlejuice, not the following pod where we talk about Dark Knight trilogy, but the following pod will be.
We've got a new Thursday episode drop.
Oh yeah, we do. We're back.
We're back.
So when we do our Transformers 1 review, we'll also do Penguin episode 1 review. So that'll be that same week. But yeah, there's something else coming out that I think is. Oh, Agatha. Hang on.
Oh yeah, how could you forget Agatha?
Oh yeah, so that's the same episode. So we'll be able to talk about 2 comic book shows the same week.
Thank God. Thank goodness.
Whew.
I've been
itching for Agatha all along. Also, Charles, are you going to watch Rings of Power? Because as our resident Lord of the Rings guy?
Probably not. I actually started it this summer, and I was like, this is buns.
Interesting. Apparently season 2 is great, so I don't know.
Right?
Apparently. I'm just going up with reviews.
I look at the costume design, and I'm like, bruh. And I just can't get into it.
My dad loves it.
The movies. Compared to the movies, it just looks like goofy.
Interesting.
Thanks.
All right, well, let's talk about something else. Jurassic World Rebirth, the new Jurassic World movie coming from Gareth Edwards, is dropping July 2nd, 2025, starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, Rupert Friend. Give us our first look. I think it looks pretty decent. Hand up, not too excited about it, but it's Jurassic Park, so I'm going to watch it. I don't know, not a whole lot about it.
I feel the same way.
I did see the... Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I feel more optimistic about it than I did than the Jurassic World movies.
Interesting.
Well,
what's different about this one?
The director is the same guy who did The Creator, same guy that did Rogue One.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. At least we'll get some cool dinosaur pictures,
Yeah. Them dino DNA. I wonder if this is tied to I mean, obviously, it probably is the end of Jurassic World, where the dinosaurs are just living in the real world with everyone else, right? Like, I remember that. Do you guys remember what the last Jurassic World was called? I saw a TikTok about this that no one can remember what it's called.
Dominion.
Dominion?
Oh, okay, good. I remembered it, and I was like,
It's pretty funny though. Like, I saw that video too.
so okay, let me tell you something a little crazy here. What I saw on Twitter, and I'm trying to confirm right now if it's correct, is that since, let me see where this is. I want to go back a little farther. Okay, so since 2019, when Mahershala Ali won a supporting actor Oscar, this will be his first on-screen in a theater movie since then. He's either done voiceover or been on movies or TV shows that are on streaming,
Yeah, because he was in Leave the World Behind
which is
last year,
Netflix.
but that was
Yep,
Netflix.
Swan Song, which was Apple TV. Eternals, he was a voice of just Blade. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, he was a voice, Uncle Aaron. He was on a couple TV shows, including Invincible. But yeah, he finally is back in theaters, which is so weird because we were supposed to get Blade about 1 billion times before this, and we're just waiting. We're gonna get Jurassic World Rebirth announced and in theaters before we get Blade even filming, which is insane. But yeah. All right, then the other reason I wanted to talk about Jurassic World, is because of what July 2025 is going to look like. So July 2025, let me give you a little breakdown here. Wednesday, July 2nd, Jurassic World. Friday, July 11th, Superman. Friday, July 25th, Fantastic Four. One of those is going to flop. One of those is going to, I think, not do as well.
Well, I think if you were to look at it like historically, I think Jurassic World, the new Jurassic Park movies, like it's gonna make a ton of money.
It's going to make a ton of money. I think, but I do think if any of these three flop, it might be Jurassic World.
I think Superman.
I don't know. I think
But
Superman
what if
might.
none of them flop?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm just saying it's a very busy month. July 2025. We gotta clear our schedules, boys.
That is when Comic-Con will be?
Yep, which we gotta get our tickets in a couple
Jack,
weeks.
are you going to Comic-Con?
What, next year?
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about this off the pod too. But
Yeah.
But this guy should go to Comic-Con.
I'm open to it.
Cool.
Nice. There's a couple other movies coming out that July. There's a Trey Parker and Matt Stone musical, the Naked Gun reboot, I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot, and that's it so far.
I mean, I think from this past summer, I feel like people have shown that they're willing to go to the movies when there are movies that interest them.
I agree. So I hope
Which
people are
I think is
interested.
unfortunate for some of the smaller, like more artsy films, which obviously I totally love and I eat some of those up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like while they may not do as well at the box office, which sucks, some of these massive franchises that everyone, I mean, Inside Out did great. I mean, Twisters did well. Yes. I mean, Deadpool was great. Is that it?
No, I mean, there's been here. Let me look up.
I'm trying to think what else this summer did. Like, because I want like the movie theater this summer. Like, Long Legs did great.
Yeah, Longlegs did well. I think Bob Marley did well.
Oh, either way, it's like I feel like when there are movies in theaters that like really interest people and they have these massive audiences, I feel like people will show up for it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm not really worried about that 3-week stretch, but who knows? Maybe by the time week 3 rolls around, somebody's like, I never want to go to a movie theater ever again in my entire life.
But I do think summer people are just into it.
Yeah.
I think people
Plus,
like
kids are out of school.
Yeah. Wow, I did not know there was going to be a new Passion of the Christ. I'm looking at this right now. It's coming out April next year.
Passion of the Christ 3. He's coming back again.
No, it literally is Passion of the Christ Resurrection. You literally called it exactly what it is. It's Mel Gibson again. That's wow, I did not know that. All right, that's the end of news. That was the fastest news we ever had in our entire lives. We have 3 trailers to talk about. I think we should talk about the one we're probably all least interested in first, which is Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3, hand up, not for me. I'm not into the extreme gore movies. I feel like I should probably watch the first one eventually just because it clearly is such a cult classic. But this one is Art the Clown, who is the titular villain of Terrifier, is doing a little Christmas special. So it's coming out in October. I don't know. I'm not into these at all. Like, I don't think you guys are
Nope.
either.
Nope.
Yeah, Charlie, I've obviously passes.
Nope.
I haven't seen 1 or 2, but I don't know. I mean, like, it's a silly, goofy movie. I might have some fun with it. Who knows?
I would like you to see this so then you could tell us about it. I might see the first one. I don't know. I feel like I probably should because like it's just like a subgenre I don't know anything about besides Saw. Like I watched Saw, but I think this is way more than that.
What we need to plan for is a nice, beautiful Halloween special.
I would like to do a Halloween special.
A
We'll
nice,
plan that.
spooky Halloween special
Yeah, just a
with
little
nothing
spooky.
but
I'll watch
PG movies for Charlie.
Yeah, for Charles.
I'll watch the Charlie Brown Halloween special.
Yeah, Nightmare Before
I'll watch
Christmas.
the SpongeBob Giant Pumpkin
That's a good
special.
one.
Or no, the one where he puts the ghost over and he just has like
Oh,
his
yeah.
brain out.
That's a good one.
You watch some of the Scooby-Doo Halloween stuff.
I'll watch the Scooby-Doo. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm in.
Sweet. All right, yeah, that was Terrifier 3. I don't know. So I guess Jack will see it and let us know what it's like in October, which is only a month away now. We're in September now. Awesome.
Wait, Jack, your birthday.
Yeah, it's soon.
Whoa, what? I didn't know that.
I asked you last week. Remind me when it is again?
It's on Wednesday.
Oh, it's this Wednesday. Yeah.
It's this Wednesday?
Yeah.
Birthday boy.
Yeah, I
Birthday
know.
boy. That's exciting.
Getting another year
Weird,
older.
weird.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff. After you turn 21, it's just kind of sad.
Yeah, I think 21 and
It's-
then it
it's-
only goes to the 10s. It gets kind of
It's
cool again.
anticlimactic for sure.
It's cool. At least at the bars, they won't have to look at my ID multiple times. But you know what? Maybe they
There you
still
go.
will.
Maybe they still will.
Because I feel like I look like not 21.
Maybe. I think
That's a
you
side note, though. Thank you.
like in a good way.
Appreciate that.
All right, next up is Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story. It's about Reeve's rise to becoming a obviously movie star, and then following his near fatal accident when riding a horse that left him paralyzed. And it kind of talks about how he also fought for, people's rights who have disabilities. It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. People say it is incredible. It's technically the first film from DC Studios, the new DC, which is pretty exciting. I think it looks pretty incredible. I think it looks kind of amazing.
Pretty super.
Yeah.
Pretty super.
It's kind of fantastic.
Say that again.
Say that again.
I did not know, even the trailer, about the relationship between Robin Williams and Christopher Reeves. I had no idea about that.
Yeah. I didn't either.
But I'm pretty excited about this. And actually, it's pretty interesting. It ties to when we're going to talk about Hitchcock, because Christopher Reeve did a remake of Rear Window after his accident, which apparently is not very good, but, it happens. It's funny, though, if you look at the stars for this movie, stars are Christopher Reeve, Johnny Carson, and Bill Clinton, like on IMDb. So Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, with the 3 spot there. I don't know. I'm very excited for this. I think it's only in theaters on 2 days. So it's on the 21st and 25th of this month. So I'd like to try to see it. So I'm going to try to plan around that. So in case anyone else is interested, you should probably plan around that.
Does it go straight to streaming after that?
I'm assuming it's going to go to Max.
Okay.
But I don't know. So it either is the week of Transformers 1, where we would have the Penguin and Agatha all along, or it's the following week, which is Megalopolis week. So a couple options there.
Okay.
But yeah, so then the final trailer is Sonic 3. I know Charles is very excited for Sonic 3.
Dude, it looked
Probably
good.
Number one Sonic guy, Chuck.
It looked cool. Chad
It
is
did
the
look
man.
good. It did look quite good.
And
I need to
Knuckles is
rewatch
kind of a
Sonic 2.
beta.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Knuckles got. They showed him for like 1 second. He got pummeled.
He had that cool thing on Big Ben where he like pushed off Big Ben with his flaming fist.
That's cool.
So this releases the same day as the Mufasa movie. I hope this makes all of the money and Mufasa makes no money.
I think this will do better.
Not to be a hater of Mufasa, but like Disney needs to stop with that.
Mufasa is literally just going to be like a wicked version of The Lion King. Where
Dude,
like
you know,
Scar
some kid
and Mufasa are like best friends, and then
some kid's gonna be so
No.
mad that his like millennial mom wants to go see Mufasa and he only wants to see Sonic. And he's like, Mom, we have to see Sonic. And she's like, but Mufasa, like, I grew up with the Lion King. And he's gonna be so pissed. That poor kid. But yeah, I'm actually really excited for this. And also, the last Sonic movie, Sonic 2, I almost walked out of the theater. I thought it was that bad. I don't know, maybe I was in like a funk or something, but I need to rewatch Sonic 2 to see if I was right. Because I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. But apparently it's
Did
good.
you see it with
so-
Henry?
Yes, Henry and I did a double feature of Sonic 2 and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Two very different movies. But we saw Sonic 2 first. So if we saw Everything Everywhere All at Once first, we would have left Sonic 2 during it. So I don't know what the vibe was that we were like, this is the worst thing, but I think I need to rewatch it now and like see if I was wrong. Because I feel like I had to be wrong. So I don't know. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I'm actually pretty impressed with how well they're like integrating the games into this. Like it's pretty legit. Also, it's very funny to me that Jim Carrey is like, I'm retired from acting unless it's involving Sonic. And then he's like, I'm fully in. Whatever you need. Oh, man, Sonic kind of rocks. I kind of forgot how much I like Sonic.
I've not seen the Sonic movies, but yet again, Jim Carrey being in the Sonic movies is a great example of him having fun.
Yes, he's having a great
Not
time.
being in bad movies, but being in movies that look fun.
Yeah.
Well said, Jack.
Apparently, they're gonna kill a kid in this movie, from what I've read online.
Oh,
so like, I watched a video about like Shadow's origins, and apparently there's a little girl named Maria, and Maria's in the trailer, and Maria like dies, so he gets like very against the world, and that's why he becomes like emo, and so that's, I guess, how that sets him on his path. So yeah, we'll see if they kill Maria. The other big rumor is that the reason why in the trailer Dr. Robotnik asked for one of the quills is because he wants to make Metal Sonic. And so the big conclusion of this movie is that Shadow is going to have to team up with Sonic to take down Metal Sonic. Which, like, come on, sign me up. Where do I sign? That sounds awesome.
This sounds like extremely small scale Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah.
Taking down Mecha Godzilla. Extremely small scale.
Yeah. Where they're just fast. I can't remember if they played the song that I like from Sonic that I love, where it's like, I run around at the speed of sound. You know that one? That's a great song. So yeah. All right. And then, big news. Keanu Reeves is in this as Shadow. So the Keanu man is Shadow the Hedgehog.
Sweet.
I know. All right. That was our trailer talk. Let's talk some Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, would you guys mind if I go first with North by Northwest? Because I think I was the only one that watched it.
I've also watched it, but yes, I would like to talk about it as well.
Okay, because I'm gonna have to go in a few.
Yeah, no, Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So North by Northwest and Rear Window, I watched those. I don't actually know. I hadn't seen North by Northwest. I thought I had, but I think I've seen To Catch a Thief in the past. Because like when I was watching North by Northwest, I was like, none of this is recognizable, or ringing a bell. I thought it was good. I thought that it was very clearly 50s. And like my main issue with some of the dialogue was a little bit just strange. I think that is just like the way they made movies though. So like I got over it pretty quickly. I think some of the shots were awesome. Like the main shot of him running away from the
plane.
The plane was sweet. And I thought the story was super neat too. And Cary Grant's the man. So it was Cary Grant, yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. And his whole relationship with I forget her name. I think her real name's Eve. But I thought it was pretty neat. I gave it 4 stars. Would watch again. And then Rear Window, I'll talk about really quick. And then, yeah. I liked Rear Window a lot more than North by Northwest. I thought it was just like a very simple movie, but somehow really captivating. That was kind of my Letterboxd review. And it was a little bit slow at first, but I didn't really mind it, if that makes sense. Because it was pretty neat looking at every single. Jack, you didn't watch Rear Window, right?
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really neat looking into everyone's like individual life, and that was the whole purpose of the movie. But I didn't mind that it was kind of slow. I also thought it was just funny because this guy was just watching all day and it kind of rocked. Have you guys seen It's a Wonderful Life?
No.
Oh my gosh. You have to watch
Jimmy
that.
Stewart.
You have to.
We'll watch it Christmas time. But Jimmy Stewart, the main character in this one, is the main character in It's a Wonderful Life. So when you texted Hunter that this guy's voice was like...
Dude, it's like molasses in the best possible way.
Yeah. He's also in It's a Wonderful Life. But I loved Rear Window. And I think the shots are so clever. I think that's Hitchcock's whole thing. Like the way he sets up a camera and the shots that he takes are just brilliant. And I think the only shot in the movie, I looked it up, the only shot in the movie that wasn't taken from the point of view of the main character in the wheelchair was with the dead dog in the courtyard. And I forget why the reason was. Maybe they couldn't get a good shot, but it was cool that the entire movie was from this one window and just like different views from it, or like magnified with the binoculars of the camera. Yeah, pretty cool. But I loved him. I kind of wish I had watched Vertigo and what was the other one?
Psycho?
Yeah. I really wish I'd watched those. I just didn't really have much time.
Understandable.
I think I watched Vertigo on accident. I don't even think Vertigo was on our list.
Yeah, it was. It was Rear
It
Window,
was.
Psycho, Vertigo, North by Northwest.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I gave Rear Window 4.5 though. So 4.5 and 4. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Charles. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
All right. I don't want to do this. That'll work. Yeah, just 2 minutes there. All right. Yeah. Do you want to go? Let's go back to. I think we should do these in chronological order for him.
Yeah.
So we should start with Rear Window because I think that is the oldest of the ones we watched. So I unfortunately did not get to watch Vertigo. I ran out of time, but I watched Rear Window, North by Northwest, and Psycho. Starting with Rear Window, I thought it was incredible, and I think the thing that was so interesting, and I wrote in my Letterboxd review, is how of the times this film is. Like North by Northwest and Psycho are very much of the time, but I think that they still could happen in a version of it today. Where Rear Window, I just don't think could ever occur today because of everything we have in our lives like that are distracting. No one would ever do what Jimmy Stewart did and just look out the window. And I think the best part about it was everyone who was like, this window is so dumb. Why are you looking out this window? The second they looked out the window, we're like, hang on, this window is pretty interesting. Like, I probably should also be looking out this window. I was like, I just loved that. I was like, then every time someone
Yeah.
like, especially when Grace Kelly looked out the window and she was like, "This is so dumb," and she's like, "Do you have binoculars? I'm ready. I'm ready to also watch out this window."
Dude, the meme you sent just had me crying.
Oh yeah.
She's like, "Honey, let's go to bed," and he's just like, "No, I have to
Yes, you're not
look out the
understanding
window. I have
this
to watch
window.
everyone."
This window is so interesting.
It's like the meme. It's like, "Honey, come to bed." It's like, "No, I'm not done finished building my Lego Millennium Falcon."
Yeah, I'm almost done. Hang on.
Like today, this movie would literally just be somebody sitting on their phone for
right, like
the
there would be a
entire day.
television in front of the window. They would never look behind it. It's like that. I think
Yeah.
is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the other thing too that I really loved was, and I think it's a theme at least throughout the ones that besides North by Northwest, but with Rear Window and Psycho, is the limited locations, yet are so
Yeah.
interesting. And I think Rear Window is the best example of it because it's just his apartment and that courtyard with other apartments in it. And to do that and make it so interesting the whole time, you need to have a great set direction and have great kind of just theming and blocking for what you're trying to film. And it does. Like, it is so awesome to look at and just watch. And like the fact it's really there makes it so much better than even like some things today where they don't build practical sets.
Yeah.
I really loved that aspect of it. Like the set in and of itself was a character, which I think is so important, especially for
No,
a movie like
100%. Like
Yeah.
you could like this community, this neighborhood, like you could very much like feel like it was a very like a living entity in this
Yes,
movie. I mean,
100%.
everyone played their role. You know, you had the lady downstairs who was, you know, taking
Oh,
the
Miss Lonely Heart. Yeah,
about about
yeah.
to take the pills. You had
That
the
was the funniest part. They were like, they're like, "Oh, yeah, she's gonna take her pills," and then they didn't want to stop her.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hang on, we gotta stop the murder." It's like this woman might kill herself. Why are you
Yeah.
not stopping her? And they're like, "It's okay."
yeah.
Then the music
I was-
saved her, which was great.
Well, for like 15 minutes, or I don't know, for like 40 minutes, they're like, "Oh, you know, we think the neighbor killed his wife," and I'm like, whatever, who cares? But then they're like, "Someone killed the dog." I'm like, you know what? You gotta find this guy right now. We gotta
Yeah.
find this guy. We gotta
Yeah.
track him
Now,
down.
hang on a second. I loved the dog's pull up.
Yes.
Thing. That was great. That was
Yeah.
so cool. Also, I loved that people obviously there wasn't AC, so they would sleep on the balcony,
Yeah.
which I was just like, that is so interesting.
Started to rain, and then they gotta take the mattress inside.
Yep, take the mattress inside. And it's like little things like that where it's just so different than the world we live in today.
Yeah.
It was just, I think, so great. Like it is so much of the times, and it doesn't feel like 1954 is basically 70 years ago. Yeah, it's 2024.
Well, this movie just had its big anniversary.
Yeah, 70th anniversary.
Like yesterday.
And so like with that, I think it's amazing to see how different we have changed in 70 years. Like we're so
Yeah.
similar. Like I bet that building, obviously not real, but like the building it was like based on or whatever is probably still standing in New York. People still live in it today. It's just so different, the world we live in now, of like how we're interconnected, like the way like even your neighbors are like, I don't know, you really don't have neighbors the same way you do or did,
Yeah.
because that was people you lived with and you were around. So but yeah, I just thought it was a very, very great, great. I gave 4.5 stars. I think it was incredible.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't give this anymore is truly I had this week, I think I started watching this movie maybe last Monday, and I got to like 30 minutes through it, but I started watching it at night. I was exhausted. Like it's not that the movie was like putting me to sleep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could be watching your favorite movie, but you're just like exhausted and you're just sitting there and you're like, I just can't keep my eyes open for the life of me.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
That happened to me like 3 or 4 times. So literally I watched like the first 30 minutes and then I watched like 15 minutes. And then like I finally watched like the last hour. I was like, all right, I need to just like finish this. So, no, I loved it. I thought Jimmy Stewart is just like, bro's got so much charisma. It's unreal. Literally just sitting in a chair with a camera watching people, which is normally a very creepy thing to do.
Yes.
seems so cool while he does it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I was like, this is just so well done. All right, next up was. Do you have anything else for this one?
No, I
All right,
think
next
that's
up
it.
is Vertigo, which I did not see. So tell me about it.
Yeah, Vertigo. I'm trying to explain it in a way because there's like a nice big little twist in this movie. So basically, it's like a retired uh, policeman who basically got vertigo from an incident that he had. You kind of find that out early in the movie, but basically, gets hired by a man to like follow around his wife just to see what she's up to because he thinks that she's kind of like possessed and something bad might happen to her. So he wants him to follow his wife, and he kind of like slowly becomes obsessed, and then it just kind of goes from there. I feel like that's a
Gotcha.
general
Yeah.
kind of like rundown. Dude, like San Francisco, some of the shots of San Francisco in this movie are just like unreal. Like it just looks so pretty. Like it makes me want to go to San Francisco, which I don't know if anyone's dying to go to San Francisco right now.
No, I don't think so.
But it looks beautiful. I mean, there's shots with like the big redwood trees. Like they are fully utilizing the space, and like I don't know. I think it's true. Like it's not nearly as much as in Rear Window, but like they make sure that the setting, like you can feel the setting, and it's not just like some random place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not living like it is in the Rear Window, but it's like the shots of San Francisco and the scenery that you get to see, it just fully like encapsulates you into this world that he's built.
Yeah.
And then dude, just like the score, the score for these movies, it just like gives me chills. Like even on like moments where it's not even like thrilling or like I'm not even gonna say like scary. You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of gives you like a little like thrill. Like it's just like this feeling of suspense. This movie, I think for the first half, it's a little slow, but it's all set up for just an amazing second half. So would totally recommend to watch it. The more movies I see in his filmography, I'm just like, I feel like I need to watch these.
Yeah, I know. I want to keep like running some, I think over the next, like maybe pick like one every couple weeks and just hit another one, do another one, do another one.
But I had a blast. This was like one of the few movies, like I was like, okay, this is kind of like it's like a thriller, like suspense movie, but Caitlin normally isn't like really big on like a lot of suspense and those types of movies. But I was like, all right, maybe she could watch this one. She watched it with me, and we had a great time. We really liked this movie.
Yeah.
I gave it 4.5, and then I gave Rear Window 4 stars.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's North by Northwest. So I think this is still my favorite of the 3 that I've seen. Cary Grant is honestly so incredible in this. And this is another one that's very much of its time. I mean, a cell phone would have resolved this in 5 minutes. So, but I do love, and I think it's true in Psycho, and I think it's true in Rear Window, that Hitchcock does things and chooses to have scenes in his movie that just feel impossible, especially for the time. I think the scene number 1 in Rear Window is when he falls out of the window and it's like kind of comped in, which was very funny. Kind of, it was supposed to be suspenseful, and I was like, this is very funny.
Yeah.
But like the other one in this movie is obviously, I think, the plane, and then also the ending on top of the Mount Rushmore. So I've been to the Academy Museum in LA, and they have Mount Rushmore. They have it. They have it there. It's a painting. Wow. It's a painting they have, and it's like a matte painting, and it looks incredible. But like the fact that they were able to do it from a painting is insane to me. But kind of getting into this movie, I think what's so interesting is how well paced it is, and how well it's just like, it's so much bigger than everything I've seen before from Hitchcock. I mean, like everything else, like I don't know. Vertigo, obviously, I can't speak to, but Rear Window is very trapped. Psycho is very trapped. This is everywhere, and I think opening it up to that is just really interesting and really well done. I mean, I really loved it.
I don't know. We're able to like catch the like points where he kind of makes his little like cameo.
Yes, he does this.
I love
he is
that.
the Stan Lee of his own movies.
It's like trying to find him. It's just like, where is he? Like, and he says nothing. He literally just like stands somewhere for a scene. I want to say for
Rear Window. He was
helping
in one
fix
of the
the clock.
windows.
He's fixing the clock of the musician or the dinner party, or same thing, I guess. And for Vertigo, what was he? I don't remember, but I remember seeing him in Vertigo. But either way, it's just kind of like fun to like, like kind of like a Where's Alfred little game each movie.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying with like the grand scale. I really want to watch this because I feel like Vertigo wasn't like the scale for it wasn't massive, but like you definitely felt that they were utilizing all the space that they could to make sure like this felt large. Like,
yeah, I'm with you.
I will say about Vertigo, if it's like happened today, it's not. I don't think that's happening either.
Yeah.
So watch Vertigo, and I want to know your thoughts about, do you think this? Because personally, I think it'd be resolved very quickly. But yet again, maybe, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. I do think though one thing about North by Northwest is I just think it's such a simple idea. And I think that like is a theme throughout all of his movies that I've seen is this idea of like a one sentence can tell you the main plot. Where Rear Window is like an injured man looks out his window and sees a possible murder. Psycho, a woman on the run gets killed and her family comes after her. North by Northwest, advertising man thinks gets tricked, like people think he's a spy and he has to go on the run. Like it's such a simple concept, which I think is so smart in the way it sells you, where it sells you in a simple concept that is then done to such a extremely well done degree that it works. And I think that is a testament, like especially now, I think a lot of things are so overly complicated in the pitch stage where this is so simple in the pitch that I think it allows the choices to be so well done down the line. I think that's just a testament to what Alfred is able to do. But yeah, so one thing I did not know about North by Northwest is obviously it was very popular. It was like a very big movie, but he wanted to make Psycho next, and studios were not interested in making Psycho. They didn't think it would be very good or done very well. There's a whole movie about it with Anthony Hopkins where he plays Alfred Hitchcock. And so he kind of did his own thing to make Psycho happen. So let's talk about Psycho. 1960, the year after, starring Anthony Perkins and Jeanette Lee, who is the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's crazy.
I know, two very famous scream queens. And so Psycho follows, kind of for a point, Marilyn, who steals a giant sum of cash, goes on the run, and then runs into the Bates Motel. I gave this 4.5 stars. I thought this was really, really well done. The ending I want to talk about, but not right now. Like, and not even the ending of like the twist. I do think though that this is probably one of the most famous twists of all time that I knew, and I wish I didn't know it. I think if I didn't know it, it'd be so good. But I just like I knew the twist, so I think it hindered my ability to watch this. Having said that, though, it still is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, I went partially blind into this movie.
Okay.
And I mean, this just the score of The Killer is iconic. I mean, it's like I knew it, but I didn't know it was from Psycho. So like as soon as that came on, I was like, I know that. I recognize that. Everyone knows that. So good. Honestly, I was really close at putting this at a 5 for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I enjoyed this movie that much. I don't know. We can hop into some spoilers. I feel like I got
Yeah,
no,
I think
just
Psycho we could spoil a little bit.
the overall feel of this movie though. It's like, it's 1960. They could have restored it. Because what the other movies like they were shot in color. I mean, like Vertigo was shot in
I
color.
think it was a
Yes.
deliberate choice. Yes, that
Yes, 100%.
it was black and
Deliberate
white.
choice not to, but I think it's perfect. Like it does, it helps build this dark feeling, for kind of this dark motel. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it just helps build this feeling of kind of like risk and fear a lot better than obviously if it was in color. I think the movie would still be fantastic, but I think black and white was definitely the best, like a great choice.
no, I'm with you. I think like a
Um,
part of that as well was like the idea that it wouldn't be too shocking.
mhm.
Because it being in black and white, like when she does get killed in the shower, it's not red blood splatter everywhere, which for 1960s I think would be very controversial. But
That is
being
true.
like obviously black and white, it doesn't feel as intense, even though it is still very intense.
No, that is true. Well, looking through the reviews on Letterboxd for this, like it was literally just like, "Am I crazy or is Norman Bates hot?" And I'm just like, "This is like crazy."
Yeah, I'm
It's
like
just like,
this is why people get murdered. This is it.
I mean, it's ridiculous because it's like there's this whole like fascination with like serial killers being like attractive, and it's like it's a whole like you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this happens during the like what the Ted Bundy thing with Zac Efron,
Yeah.
and then you had the Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, I guess this is a little bit off topic, but that's just what I thought of. You know what I'm saying? Because I was kind of like going to some of the reviews, hoping that some people would have some like, you know, some good stuff to say. But it's just like, is Norman Bates hot? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
Which is crazy.
And it's like I swear it's like that. Like you might find one that's not like that, like in between the lines, but it's just like the top 20 are just Norman Bates, and yeah. Crazy stuff. I did look up the equivalent of $40,000 in today's money.
Which is
It'd be like $425,000.
oh yeah, that's worth running away.
Yeah, 100%.
I did. So I think what is so interesting about this movie is the ending. When the psychologist goes in to the room, and he's like, "Yeah, he admitted everything to me immediately." I was just like, I was like, what a like nice little bow on this. But I did think it was really interesting to kind of see this depiction of a mental illness, especially in a time where it feels like people didn't really talk about that all that much. Or
Mhm.
like if they did, it was like throw them in the loony bin.
Yeah.
Where I thought that was like a pretty interesting kind of examination of someone, who dealt with all this.
Well, you have the scene where Bates is sitting down with Marion, and she's like, "Well, like, why don't you put her in a home? Like, why don't you
Yeah.
put her in like a
And he gets
place
like
where she,
offended.
like
Yeah.
like a mental institution?" And he's like, "Why would I do that?" And he like
Yeah.
gets all. This guy was just creepy from right when you meet him. I mean,
Yes.
like the stuffed birds, I thought it was going potentially in that direction.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought there was going to be some weird, like somebody was going to be stuffed, like some weird crap going on. Then he's got like he lifts up the picture and he's got like the peephole into the room. Like, I don't know. And
No,
then he brought her
yeah.
milk. He brought her milk.
Yeah, dude, everyone drinks milk. Everybody drinks milk. I could not get over that. Maybe it's maybe why don't we drink milk anymore? I don't know what happened to
Yeah.
that.
That was one of the Letterboxd reviews I liked. And it was like someone giving you milk. to drink with your meal is an automatic red flag.
Yeah. I did learn that there are 3 sequels to this, all with Anthony Perkins in them.
Really?
So yeah, so there is Psycho 2, which came out in 1983, which apparently is pretty good. It's 22 years later, Norman Bates comes home. Then there's Psycho 3, which came out in 86, which is directed by Anthony Perkins, which apparently is not as good. And then there's Psycho 4, which came out in 1990, and that is also the Anthony Perkins. It's like the origin story of Norman Bates. And then obviously there's the Bates Motel show, which came out not too long ago. So
sequels, and they've been going.
This is his most popular movie by far.
Because it looks like he's on Murder on the Orient Express.
I'm saying Hitchcock. Like, of all Hitchcock's movies, this is
100%.
His number one, which is so funny they didn't want to make it.
I feel like you hear Hitchcock or you hear Psycho, and it's like, I mean, obviously, like you hear Hitchcock, Psycho, I want to say is like most likely the first movie that people will say, which is interesting because the Letterboxd community has Rear Window above Psycho.
That isn't actually interesting, yeah.
Rear Window is higher. I think Vertigo is like a 4.2. 4.2, yeah. I just found that interesting though, because like Rear Window is like this. I had no idea what it was before, we decided to watch it last week.
Yeah.
And now it's like, is this his best movie? Possibly.
I think I need to see Notorious. I've heard Notorious is like, people think it's his best.
Okay.
It's Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. I think I need to see that to find out what it is.
See, because there's so many different.
There's just so many. There's just so many Hitchcock.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to my dad. My dad's like, "You got to watch The Birds." He's like, "I used to watch that like all the time when I was a kid, like all the time."
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that in a film class, and like that one, I think holds up very poorly, just because it looks so obviously not real.
I've heard Rope is great.
Yeah, I heard Rope is quite good.
Well, literally, Danny Schechter texted me. He was like, "All right, if you're on a Hitchcock binge, like watch these," and he listed off like 5 or 6 more movies.
There you go.
And I'm like, damn.
There's just so many.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like Psycho. I don't know about you, but like if I could have watched this in a dark room.
Yes, I think that this in a theater would be a very awesome experience.
Like goosebumps and all, like everyone's kind of shocked together. I feel like that would just be so much fun. Because I watched this like at 8 o'clock yesterday in my bed. This is what my room looks like at 8 o'clock in the morning. I have 0 lights on. My shades are down. It's so bright in here. But when I tell you that they were like even when I knew that somebody was going to get killed, or like you could sense it, like there was still just like this feeling of like suspense. Like, I don't know. It's just really hard to explain because like I knew it was coming, but I was still kind of like anxious about it.
Yeah.
If that's like the right word to say.
No, I know what you're saying.
Like when the private investigator is going upstairs to look and it's like really quiet and you're just like, oh my gosh. But then you start to hear that, like, the like score, and then the mother pops out and then he just gets knifed. I don't know. The scene, I didn't know that it was like a dual personality thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
I didn't know that. Coming in this movie, I knew that I knew that our like main character, that she dies like very early in the movie. Because I'd heard that somewhere, some TikTok, whatever. But honestly, like I was kind of like upset going into this movie because I was like, dang, like I already know
Yeah, you already know
something
like
big.
the
Because like
twist.
I think I want to say for its time to like have like this main character that you like think is like, you know, you
Yeah.
have this person you think is your main character and then they kill her off so early in the movie. I think that just didn't happen a lot back then.
Yes, I kind of agree. And I think also like I think at least with the Hitchcock that I've seen, the there's that one central character it latches onto right away. And it
Mhm.
seemed like it was going to be um, you know, fear like Janet Leigh. Like you're like, all right, this is Janet Leigh's
Yeah.
movie, Janet Leigh's thing, and then she disappears 30 minutes in, and you're like, oh, okay, she's gone now. And I think that that is a also a deliberate choice on the fact of at this point, you know, Alfred Hitchcock is a established name. People know him. It's right after North by Northwest. Like there is a theme to Hitchcock people are expecting, and then by subverting it so quickly, I think it's just a great choice that really probably threw people off, and really was like, okay, anything can happen now in this movie.
Yeah. I think
So
I like the ending too because everyone that's invested in this disappearance is like, what happened to the money? Everyone's worried about the money.
yeah,
But
where's
he
the money?
literally just like I
Didn't
mean,
care.
obviously he didn't see the money, but
No, he saw the money.
well, he got the newspaper. He didn't see the money.
He just threw it, but he threw it in the mud. He didn't care.
Yeah, but like I don't think he saw like you know what I'm saying. Like I don't think he saw the
Oh
one
yeah. He didn't
cash.
like maybe sink in.
So like it because it's not from my perspective. I feel like he grabbed the newspaper, which she had wrapped the money in, and he was just kind of like, "Oh, this is a newspaper. Just toss it in the car. Just get rid of every trace of her."
Yeah.
As where when they're going in to try and find out who did it, they're like, "Well, you would probably really like some money to relocate your hotel, huh?"
Hmm.
And he's just like, "No, why would I do that? I love it here."
Yeah.
It's like,
He was a bad liar. He was a very bad liar.
yeah, he um this I don't know that like the
I'm
ending
really glad we did
scene.
this though. Like
Yeah,
this
me
is such a
too.
topic that I just didn't like Hitchcock. I think it's hard because I think that watching movies pre 1970 is hard because it's so different. Like there's just a different style to it. There's a different way to go about it that like
Yeah,
you're so used to one thing by doing it differently. If you really have to take your time and watch it. And I'm glad that we like did this because it was very helpful to kind of go about that.
I think what's cool for me is like seeing obviously like back then like big director like Alfred Hitchcock was like a big name. Like people went to go see movies like because of him.
Yeah.
Um, which I think we're kind of returning to that kind of era right now.
I would
You
agree.
know, I would agree that we have, you know, director superstars or like people like no doubt that Christopher Nolan has stacked casts in his movies, you know, or
Yeah.
that, you know, Martin Scorsese has great cast in his movies. But I would argue for the main part that people hear, you know, Scorsese's making a new movie, I'm in. You
Yeah.
know,
Spielberg's coming out with another one. I'm in. I think people
like
are just into that.
Francis Ford Coppola is making a new movie. I'm in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
James
I
Cameron
feel
like
like
always gets people to show up.
yeah, I think the directors are starting to get a fan base, which I feel like wasn't necessarily the case like I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago, or it wasn't as strong at least.
I think that there was kind of a shit. Like I think there was like the movie stars, then the directors, back to the movie stars, back to the directors. It's kind of like the cyclical thing where now
Yeah.
we're kind of going away from true traditional movie stars to back to directors. But then again, there's this new generation of actors coming up, like
Yeah.
the Timothy Chalamet, like Glenn Powell, like these people. Like
Yeah.
the only person who's really transcended is Tom Cruise for the past 40 years. But besides, like now we're kind of in that director thing, and I'm sure in the next 5 to 7 years it'll shift back towards actors, where you have, whatever Timothy Chalamet does, people are in. Like whatever
True.
Glenn Powell does, whatever Chris Pratt does, people are in. Like it's like that's you kind of need those people, which it's true. People show up for Chris Pratt.
Yeah. I also really liked seeing like what like great actors look like back then. You know, 'cause, like
Yes.
it's very easy to watch movies now and say, a great actor now looks like Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Timothy Chalamet, Margot Robbie. I mean, it's just like you can kind of like go on and like, you know, Meryl Streep. I mean, just, you know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of
Yes, I also love
watch
that it's like just very like good-looking, average-sized guys. Like it's not like now where it's like I put on 70 pounds of muscle for this role, where instead it
Yeah.
was just like a dude who's like in pretty decent shape, like does push-ups every once in a while, like,
Yeah.
and he's like the handsome like lead. I just think that it really did change in the 80s, like when you had Arnold and Sylvester Stallone, like that's where it changed.
Yeah. I think it's just, I don't know. And it's fun seeing like, you know, Jimmy Stewart, like It's a Wonderful Life. I like, whether it's now or before Christmas time, watch it. Literally one of my favorite movies all time. A lot of
I gotta
emotion
see
mixed
it.
in there. Like literally that was my grandpa's like favorite Christmas movie, one of his favorite movies ever. Got to watch with him. Loved Jimmy Stewart. But seeing Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life and then seeing him in Vertigo, two completely different characters.
Yeah.
So it's very weird to like also see like sometimes it's very easy to like hear their dialogue and be like, oh, they just sound the same. But like these guys have some serious range. Like I think for Jimmy Stewart to pull off It's a Wonderful Life, I feel like that's a very easy, like charismatic character, like guy kind of like down on his luck. But then you have him in Vertigo where he kind of gets obsessed with this woman and it's kind of a weird, like it's like loving him as an actor. It's kind of hard to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, 100%. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's so cool seeing like these movie stars at the time and then just seeing them in different movies and seeing their acting style. I don't know. You've seen 12 Angry Men, yeah?
Yes, love 12 Angry
Yeah.
Men.
I love I mean, so Henry Fonda, obviously the lead in 12 Angry Men, he plays one of the bad guys in Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah.
And just seeing the difference in his character from those two is just like, it's another one where it's just like, wow, like these guys are kind of cracked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like the old movies and I'm totally down to dig more into, you know, some of
No, I
these
think we
directors
should.
that are not so current, you know?
I agree. I'd love to go back and do like a 70s look back on like some of the 70s kind of dramatic films, because the 70s was a big time of dramatic films. And even like I would like to do Francis Ford Coppola. I'd love to do early Spielberg. Like I think we should do it when we have time, because I'm looking. Let me look at the schedule real fast for us. Oh, I feel like I have to sneeze, but I don't want to sneeze. I'm gonna mute myself so in case I sneeze. No, we're good. Whew, that was scary. All right, so next week we have Beetlejuice, which I'm actually pretty excited for. I don't know why.
Really?
Something about Beetlejuice, like like the last few days, I'm just like, yes, let's go. Beetlejuice could be sweet. So next week is Beetlejuice. Then we're gonna do the Dark Knight trilogy, and that'll be episode after that. And then it is Transformers 1, along with the Penguin and Agatha all along, and then Megalopolis, and then Joker, and then Saturday night. Okay, so the next one we probably will have the ability to do something else will be October. Let's see what episode that'd be. That'd be October 21st. So that'd be the October episodes. Maybe that'll be our Halloween special. We'll do a
Halloween.
Halloween
Yeah, that's
special
where I
that week.
feel like that it fit in pretty good there.
Okay, and maybe we can watch some classics of the Halloween genre. So
You like scary movies?
yeah. Do you want to play a game? I love that. But yeah, all right. So that was Hitchcock. Look back at his career a little bit, and honestly learned a lot. I really enjoyed that. I feel like I don't watch a ton of old movies, which I really feel like I need to a lot more. So I'm glad we did that. But yeah, you got anything else?
No.
Cool.
Super pumped for September. Lots of
very excited for September. I
be a
think
good
this is our last little lull, and the rest of the year we should be. I mean, we got some great stuff to finish this year off. I'm very excited for that.
I mean, Wicked.
Yeah, Wicked,
Wicked,
Joker 2, Venom,
Megalopolis. We have
Red One. Never forget about Red One.
Our Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh.
Oh yeah,
romance. I'm trying to blank on that movie. Something About Time.
Yeah, that's in late September, I think, right? Or is that
I think it's
December?
October. October. I want to say it's October, unless I'm
I'm not seeing it on the schedule.
what?
Maybe I'm just looking at the wrong thing.
We Live in Time. It comes out. Theatrical release in the U.S. is October 11th.
Oh, okay. Where was I looking?
It premieres in the Toronto International Film
Oh,
Festival.
it's the same week as Saturday night. So we'll do Saturday night and that one at the same time.
That's a great weekend.
I know, right? That's a very
fun
like
double
cool
feature.
Yeah. Which also the first reviews for Saturday night are coming out. Very awesome reviews.
Really?
So, yes, it's very exciting. So yeah, we'll do our Halloween episode will be that 21st, and I think we might do another themed episode November 4th and maybe November 11th because there's not two big ones those weeks, and then we got Red 1 and then Gladiator 2 and Wicked and Moana 2, Y2K, Craven and Lord of the Rings, Mufasa, Sonic, A Complete Unknown, Nosferatu, Paddington. So yeah, we're basically booked except for 2 weeks until January.
Crazy.
I know. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. All right, yeah. So if you got nothing else, I got nothing else. Charles is already gone. He's out of here. But yeah, a little shorter episodes today, which I think is good. But for sure. So for Jack, Charles, and myself, thanks for listening, and see you next week for Beetlejuice. Don't say it 3 times. All right. Peace.